It's Bob and Tom Tonight, starring Chick McGee, Christy Lee, Josh Arnold, and Tom Griswold. And now, here's Tom.
This is the Bob and Tom Show. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us in the big room. Ace, Chick, Josh, I'm Tom in the ancillary suites. Makes them sound so much nicer. It's Willie G behind the glass over there, Christy Lee behind the glass over there, and being delivered via closed circuit TV. We have Mr. Godwin over there, Miss Jessica Alsman from her home, and it looks like to me we've got behind a green, is that a big green screen? It's Roy Wood Jr. Hey, Roy.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
What's going on, man?
It's good to see you, sir.
How y'all doing?
Good.
Hey, Roy.
Live from my girlfriend's brother's basement, baby. We are chilling. Look at that space.
Yep, that's
Living lavish.
that is
Lavish. I know you're jealous, you bastards. I know you're jealous.
Now, we are on the YouTube, as they say, and Roy just, we've got the camera moving, and you are indeed in the basement. But
yeah, man. Good to see y'all.
yeah, this is one of the odd things about the world we're living in right now. So many of the broadcasters on TV are broadcasting from various odd spots, and they usually don't back up the camera. But I know in a lot of cases they've had to remove books from their bookshelf. Have you heard about this, Roy?
No, what's happening with that?
Yeah, because a lot of the news people, you'll see them and they'll be sitting in an office and they've got a bunch of books behind them, and then someone will email them, "How dare you read that book?"
Oh, geez.
Sure. I know it's true.
Are you serious?
Oh, my
We're
gosh.
book shaming now?
Apparently.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there's all kinds of little things you can do. I inadvertently posted something that had a rather important phone number on it that was visible on a piece of paper.
Did you see the Rio de Janeiro council meeting where they were on a Zoom conference call, and one of the Zoom participants was going at it with his girlfriend or wife?
Oh, my gosh.
It was, and they never broke. They just all were continuing with their meeting, and this one square, these guys are just going at it. It was hysterical. They were
That's
both
unusual.
watching the hockey
Because
game.
usually the politicians are doing it to us.
Yeah. It's pretty funny.
So, what state are you in, Roy?
Physically, right now, we are still in the tri-state area of New York City.
Okay.
So it's literally been like, it's weird how to visit another family, it's essentially the same as having sex with a new person. It's like, okay, do you have any symptoms? How many other people have you been with? When was the last time you were with that person?
Yep.
And who were their social like I'm asking questions like I have a checklist now. Okay, you meet this, and this requirement. Okay, we may come to your house and enjoy some company.
I mean, I can remember when the phrase "Have you been tested?"
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
was
An STD
a
reference.
different meaning.
Yeah.
The STD.
You'll be glad to know, Roy, when you walk in this building, and by the way, almost no one's allowed in the building. We have this on-the-wall thermometer thing. You just walk up and get your head near it, and it blasts a big beep and tells you your exact temperature. I'm kind of getting to enjoy it now. Sort of my first contact every morning.
I don't know how I feel. Like, what's crazy is that there were things that I wasn't sure whether or not, like, this is normal back in March. And now I welcome it. I went to drop my son off. This is about 2 weeks before New York City shut down. And I went to drop my son off at preschool. And the lady at preschool, she pulls out one of those temperature thermometers. But it's one of them joints where you can do it from like 5-6 feet away. So I'm standing there. I'm like, is she pointing that at me? And then she pointed at my boy. And there were no other people around me also entering the school at that time. So I couldn't tell whether or not it was racism. So I'm like, I don't want to hit the racism button. And I'm not sure. So I let it slide. And then like 2 days later, they shut down the city. And now when I go in somewhere, I'm like, what do you mean you don't have a thermometer? Shoot me in the head. Come on. Put me in my head.
Yeah, those
It
weird...
does look like they're pointing, well, they are pointing a gun at you, but it's just, it's a temperature gun.
Yeah, it's very PTSD-ish to just have someone just go, ugh, and I'm like, no, we need a stomach thermometer. Point something at my gut.
I mean, can you imagine, Roy, if this had been during one of the earlier plagues way back in the day, it would be, well, probably at best a rectal thermometer. That'd be awkward.
Yeah.
Yes, welcome to Applebee's. Bend over.
I want my baby back.
Roy Wood Jr. is a longtime friend of the show, one of my favorite comedians, and Roy is, of course, a correspondent on The Daily Show. And I've just been reading a little bit of Trevor Noah's book. Wow, that is just great. We had a chance to talk to
That
Trevor.
boy lived a life.
Yeah.
He is a super funny and just very interesting guy. Now, you guys have something going on where you're going to be attacking both sides, which is a rarity in today's world. It's called VOTEGASM 2020. Now, give me the background on this idea.
It's the same thing we've done. I mean, this predates Trevor. The Daily Show turns it up during an election year, and we try to do our best to overanalyze both sides and what they're trying to do. I'll tell you one thing that I'm finding interesting from the conventions, and I know they've done it this week, and I know they're going to do it next week with the Republicans, is the state roll call, where they have a delegate or a super delegate or whatever. I took history in Alabama, so I don't know all the names.
Yeah, same here. I was in Ohio. Yeah, go ahead.
But they had so last night they had all the super delegates or whoever. They come out and they go, "I'm from the great state of North Dakota, and we cast 2 votes for Bernie Sanders and 400 votes for Joe Biden." And they always give you some fun fact about the state. Like the guy, I'm from, what was the one yesterday? I think it was Rhode Island. Like, we're Rhode Island, and we're the home of calamari and lobster. And just tell us who you're voting for. And if you're going to give us a fun fact about your state, be honest. And I can't hate on Alabama because they did it from the Edmund Pettus Bridge with the late, great John Lewis March for voting rights. But next year, or the next election, I'm from the great state of Alabama, the home of barbecue, and we're not sure football's going to be here, but damn it, we got football and Jesus. And we cast our vote for Joe Biden, president.
I think they should also make each one of them hold the state license plate. Because so many of those slogans are so embarrassing that it would just add a little bit of levity to it. It is. I can't bring myself to watch much of it, so I'm glad that the Daily Show is doing it for me.
You want to see some good backgrounds. Watch all these watch all these conventions on both sides, man. Because you can tell when people are manipulating their background. I like a real natural Zoom chat background. Even this green screen I'm doing, that's not normal. It should be a child eating something sticky in the background. The TV should still be on. Like, I don't trust anything manicured. Like, if you got more than 5 books in your background, I don't trust you. You ain't reading all of them.
I agree. I would like, and someone's probably done this.
Stop lying.
I'm sure someone's done this on the internet, and I just haven't seen it. But the best one I've seen was a clip of a woman doing a very serious interview about COVID-19. And you can sort of see a stairway behind her. She's clearly at home, and she's very well-spoken, a scientist, really knows what she's talking about. And obviously has told her kids, look, I've got to do this interview on whatever channel it was. Please leave me alone for a minute. Then you see this kid come creeping down the stairs, walking by. Then you see his sister fly down the stairs, grab the kid, drag him, and throw him out of the scene. There has to be a collection of these things where people are doing these serious interviews, and someone gets on the background and is bothering them.
I'm nervous. I know my day is coming. My child is 4. He's aware of things now. And oh my God bless the teachers that are headed back to the classrooms. Thank you so much, because I don't know how to lesson plan. Let me tell you what my son's lesson plan was a couple weeks ago. We did numbers. We're working a little bit on handwriting. And we also studied the centrifugal vortex of tornadoes, because that's what he felt like watching. I don't think a 4-year-old should know about sky vacuums yet, but he does.
Well, I got news for him. We had a story a couple days ago. They had, what was it called? A
fire tornado.
A fire tornado.
Oh, I won't show it to him. He'll lose his mind.
In case 2020 wasn't bad enough, now we've got a tornado that's on fire already. Okay, so we're speaking with Roy Wood Jr., stand-up comedian and correspondent for The Daily Show, doing their VOTEGASM 2020, among other things. What have been some of your recent assignments, Roy? What have you been up to?
It's the thing that's been interesting about the show now is that we've done a lot of stuff remote, but it's been really cool to have access to certain people and have, how can I put it? Deeper conversations about issues because you don't have to fly there. And that's the thing that I was always scared about during the pandemic is whether or not they were still going to make us go places. Because I was going to turn to Trevor and be like, are you coming with me? I feel like a captain should be in battle with the truth. Maybe you should go watch Saving Private Ryan. Tom Hanks was right there with the boys when they was doing the danger. So, it's been a lot of following, just smaller stories that's going on. Like we were talking, we're focusing. I'm working on a story coming up about, the internet. And the thing that's tough about the schools and sending the kids back is that if you send the kids home for home learning, aside from issues with school lunch and getting access to, because a lot of kids only eat good at school because of, the way, unfortunately, the way parts of the country are. But more importantly, there are other parts of the country where the internet is ridiculously slow and kids don't have access to the internet to even access the e-learning that's being set up for them. So we're kind of tracking that story. That maybe they should put that in the next Alabama super delegate roll call. I'm from the great state of Alabama, home of barbecue, football, and questionable internet. Joe Biden, the next president of the United States.
Yeah, I think a lot of that is the FCC worrying about stuff that doesn't matter, like the language on this show, instead of making sure that people have adequate internet. That just is so ridiculous. I saw that.
Regardless of where you lean, you have access. You should have access to the internet and porn the same as everybody else.
That's right. This is America.
In case you missed it, he said internet porn. If you'd like to write us a letter, we're speaking once again with Roy Wood Jr., stand-up comedian. Roy, when is the last time you did an actual stand-up show? Have you been able to do any?
February 29th, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, at the Improv, where I shook hands with, by my estimate, 1,300 people cumulatively. I don't know what this means. And, we had the Bob and Tom tours, and we do the meet and greets, and I never did the math on it. I've shaken, is that the proper pair? I've shook a lot of, I've done shocked a lot of hands.
Wow. And
so that was the last time I was on an airplane. We drove to Alabama 15 and a half hours so my son could have some grandma time earlier during the pandemic. And I've never had more of an appreciation for airline food and peanuts and a chair than 15 hours in a car with a 4-year-old watching Paw Patrol, and you can't resync his Bluetooth headphones because you're driving and you're just listening to Paw Patrol for 4 hours straight. Did you know a Chevy Tahoe has a 6-hour gas tank? I do, because I listen to Paw Patrol for 6 hours straight. It's such a dumb show. It's a good show, but it's dumb because it's 4 puppies doing firefighter rescue stuff with an 8-year-old who's their leader. Where's your parents, child? And why are you in the forest with talking dogs?
But
whatever.
The number of times we used to have to pull off the road and back in the day to a Radio Shack to get a headphone splitter. I'd get all prepared in the Suburban, and in those days I'd buy one of those little TVs that had the built-in VCR, and I'd get a stack of tapes for the kids. I'm going to be in the car for 8+ hours. And by the way, a Suburban can get a full 8 hours without refilling. Nice vehicle. Yeah. Of course, back in the day it was $300 worth of gasoline, but it was well worth it. But yeah, I'd get going, all of a sudden I'd realize, we have to have the speaker on. And then I'd find the nearest Radio Shack.
Speaking of road trips,
they got to have the isolation headphones.
Quick question on the road trips. My son, the first time he used the bathroom on the road trip, it was like 4 a.m. And so we opened both doors of the car to make like a little urinal partition on the side of the road. And now he thinks that's how you pee on road trips. And so he'll only use the bathroom on the side of the road. And I don't know how to untrain this. There is no episode of Paw Patrol that touches on this.
Wow.
So he likes the toilet, but only when we're in town. When we're on the road and we're moving, he goes, "Daddy, it's time for the freeway," and I'm like, "No."
I just realized,
I don't know how to unlearn it.
I've got a 4-year-old girl, my little girl, and she loves to pee outside.
Is that right?
Willie will back me up on this.
Oh yeah, she's feral.
Kids love it.
She just loves it.
I wonder where she got that idea.
Yeah. How'd that start?
Well, now that you mentioned it, I do too. But,
Yes, you do.
on the road, you have to pee in a wide mouth jar. That's the way to go. Once again, we're speaking with one of my favorite comedians. He is Roy Wood Jr., and you can enjoy what Roy's got going on The Daily Show. And they'll be attacking both sides, which is the way to go these days, because no one else is really doing it anymore. It's so tiring of just one channel just gets these people, the other channel gets those people, and they never talk. I'd like to see him just flip-flop it every once in a while. What I'd love to see would be a show in which they took one of the left-leaning shows and one of the right-leaning shows and made them do an hour together. Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah. Like a very special crossover, like Chicago PD with Chicago Fire.
Exactly. Exactly. It would be great. I think it would actually be interesting. Wait a minute. You mean dialogue?
Yeah.
It's tough to say if comedy's doing its job these days. Sometimes I think that we're laughing ourselves all the way to death. It's a tough world, and we appreciate you guys making the effort and making a lot of this stuff fun. And I can't wait for you to get back on the road. And do you think? Let me ask you a serious question. Do you think you would know your act if you had to get up on stage an hour from now? Would you know a lot of the act that you did in Pittsburgh?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I would have to listen to my old sets to relearn what I was doing. The advantage, though, is that 80% of what I was doing isn't even relevant topically anymore. Like I literally, like the stuff I was talking about, like I had a joke. I had a great joke about congressional hearings. What was that? Do you even remember that? You remember when people would get in a room and then you would retell your lie to other liars in a room? Remember that? Congressional hearings.
Yeah, I believe they threatened to do, I believe yesterday or the day before they were threatening to do more hearings about something. And like, really?
Yep.
Now? We got plenty of time.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thanks, Roy.
I do know when I get back out on the road, I'm using the cutouts that they use at the baseball games. That's going to be my crowd.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and I forgot to mention, when this first happened, we were wondering if there would be any Steve Bartman cutouts floating around out there. And lastly, I know that you're a big Cubs fan, but today is the anniversary. Chick, you want to tell Roy quickly what this is?
Eddie Goodell, that short little guy that Bill Veeck had bat for the St. Louis Browns.
1951.
Wearing the number 1/8 on this date in 1951. Yeah. He had the world's smallest strike zone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then after that, I believe they amended the baseball regulations so that couldn't happen again.
Yeah, that's right.
No more stunts.
Yeah.
Well, but hilarious. That would be, you'd be crucified. If
Oh,
you did.
yeah.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Well, rightfully so.
Yeah.
Different times. Different times.
Yeah, that bit didn't age well.
No.
They should have made him run the bases, though.
Wait, but what year was that again, Chick?
51.
1951, yeah.
Yeah, black people had only been in the league 3 years. Different times.
Different time.
I think Larry
Way
will be.
different times.
That's right.
Okay, we'll see you. Thanks so much, Roy. You're the best. God, Roy Wood Jr.
He is great. We love you, Roy.
Funniest people I've ever heard.
Good man.
Yep.
Watch the entire show live or on demand with the Bob and Tom VIP All Access Pass. Listen live with the Bob and Tom app and make sure to visit bobandtomstore.com. Tune in next time for more Bob and Tom Tonight.